Good afternoon. Today we are going to see in our health class of first year weather emergencies and natural disasters. First of all, the objectives of the class are describe the different type of weather emergencies and natural disaster, list safety measures to take during any event of emergencies, practice helpful behavior by preparing an emergency supply kit. First of all, we're going to see what is weather emergencies. Weather emergencies are any dangerous situation brought on by changes in the atmosphere. The National Weather Service works to track the progress of storms, and the responsibility of the NWS will be send bulletins to the public. These bulletins keep people informed about possible weather emergencies. When people communicate with others, they would be safe. Bulletin involve watches and warnings. In other words, we're going to see the difference between a watch warning, a watch storm, or watch weather, and a warning storm. Storm watches indicate that the storm is mostly likely to develop, and storm warnings indicate that severe storms are already developed and weather emergency is happening. What is natural disaster? A natural disaster is any event caused by nature that result in widespread damage. They include floods, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and other geologic processes. Also, we can say that wildfires are also considered natural disasters. First of all, we'll talk about what is a tornado. Tornado funnel, and we're going to explain that a tornado is a whirling funnel-shaped windstorm that drops from storm cloud to the ground. How does it form? In the United States, there is an area called the Tornado Alley, which is in the southern states in the Midwest, together with the Gulf of Mexico. Normally, this happens during the summer, and it can be at a velocity of 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. How does a tornado form? A tornado form, and this is the shape, a beautiful picture of taken in the tornado alley in the state of Kansas. Then it would show here with this drawing how the hot air from the ground rises to the cold air on the surface, on the atmosphere, and that will be cloud, and this combination is what forms a tornado. Tornado formation, here on details, it will tell me that warm moisture air rises from the ground, warm air meets cold dry air creating a vortex which descends from the storm cloud. Vortex makes contact with the ground, updraft draws in more air, rising while rotating. Tornado spins at a speed, creating a destructive force on its path. Some tornadoes have been called a very destructive tornadoes. Now, if a tornado watch is an issue in your area, what you should do? First of all, where to go? You should go to a basement underground. And second, what to do? Get protected under a heavy table or furniture. Also go into a bathtub with blankets and cushions. The next one will be a hurricane. Hurricane is a strong wind storm with rain that forms over the sea, over the oceans. As we see here in these pictures, we can look at the part of an hurricane. The center of the hurricane is called the eye of the hurricane. Then we have the eye walls, which is the most dangerous part of the hurricane, and then the spiral rain bands. This is something that we call, when we look at those on the television, we can see that the forecast is always talking about the strength of the spiral rain bands. The next disaster, natural disaster, is called blizzards. A blizzard is a very heavy snowstorm with winds up to 45 miles per hour. Blizzard can last from 1 hour up to several days. During a blizzard, always stay inside. Temperatures are really very low, and that will they produce hypothermia. What is it? It's a sudden drop and dangerous drop, of course, of body temperature. How to prevent hypothermia from happening. You must keep covered up with warm clothes and always stay inside during a blizzard. Next, we are talking about floods. What is a flood? Here we call it an increase of water that inundate land that normally is dry. And this can happen by many reasons. One could be excessive rain, other can be a rupture of a dam, another will be rapid melting of snow or coastal flooding due to a tsunami. Also in Venezuela, we had enormous examples of flood, especially when a dam is broken and also when there is a lot of rain and then the river channel will not hold the great amount of water and this water will overflow and produce flood and many dangers or many problems. Then the next we'll talk about earthquakes. Earthquake is the shaking of the ground, shaking of the surface of the earth resulting from sudden release of energy in the earth lithosphere. And I'll be explaining to the students what's going on with when we said the motion, the movement of the earth lithosphere. What type of energy is this coming out? We are going to talk a lot about earthquakes as Venezuela is a very seismic country. We have many faults and we have to be prepared for any kind of tremor or earthquake. Here in this picture, I will show the students about the earth. This is how the earth looks inside. The earth has three layers. The first one is called the crust, which is the surface of the earth. This is where we are, and it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers thick. Then we have the mantle, which is where the magma is, which is this orange, dark orange color. Then we have the outer core and the inner core. The inner core being solid and the outer core is melted, is liquid too, okay? Then what we mentioned the word lithosphere. What is the lithosphere? A lithosphere is a layer of crust and that is between the surface, the crust of the earth and the upper layer of the mantle. Okay, and that is approximately 100, 150, because this is the top layer of the mantle, which is molten, and that will be called the lithosphere. Then we have this other picture when it said the earth crust plus the upper mantle will see the lithosphere, and that will go from 0 to 100 kilometers thick. So this is a beautiful picture of the crust, the mantle, and the inner core or the core of the earth. Earthquakes cannot be predicted. This is something important. We must understand this. Earthquakes cannot be predicted, but they are being studied very accurately and very careful. Scientists use the Richter scale to measure the strength of an earthquake. Time scale rate the forces this scale, rate the force of magnitude of an earthquake, and it measured from 1 to 10, being 1 the lowest and 10 the highest. When an earthquake is measured by the Richter scale, that means it is 10 times stronger than an earthquake measured for, and so on. So we said, if we have an earthquake and we said the earthquake, the Richter scale said it is a 5 in the Richter scale, and then we have another one which is 6. That will be 10 times higher than the previous earthquake. There are many earthquakes, magnitude 2 or 3 being the stronger, and magnitude 7 will be the stronger or the highest, okay? What is an aftershock? The word means aftershock. They are small earthquakes that happen immediately after a big one as the earth readjusts to the same way it was. We have a picture here about the Richter scale showing us from 0, 1 up to 9 or 10, which says 6 is moderate, strong, major is an 8, 9 to 10 is a great earthquake. Then how do you protect yourself during an earthquake? If you are indoors, First of all, stay away from windows or mirrors that may shatter or break. Stay away from tall and heavy objects that might fall on top of you. Also, get under sturdy piece of furniture and cover your head with your arms or with a pillow. If you are outside, stay away from trees, buildings, or power lines that they might fall. Find a clear open area where you can wait until the movement is over, meaning a park or a soccer play a field, any open space. And lastly, always cover your head with your arms and stay with your family. Always stay in groups, please. Now, the activity of this class is to make an emergency supply kit. We had this as a homework due today, and students will start sharing their presentations. So, hope you enjoy the class. Thank you for your attention.